Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to go over how to create an AI interface or chat interface within Bubble, similar to ChatGPT. So this is what I've built here, and we're going to go and just demo it here. So I'm going to do write me 2 paragraphs about the American Revolution, and click our send button. And what it's going to do in the background is actually talk to Claude, which is the model we're using for this, and go ahead and return a response and then display it in the center over here. And as far as the UI is concerned, it's a very basic layout, and I made it specifically in that case because the function is what's key to this tutorial rather than the design as usual. But I'd be more than happy to go over a separate video with just the design. Also going to be releasing a second video with multi-model configuration, so your users can select between different models, for example, OpenAI's, ChatGPT, or Anthropic's Claude, Meta's Llama, whatever. So yeah, this is what it produces. So you can see now there's 2 paragraphs produced from Claude that describe the American Revolution. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Before we get started, what you want to do is you want to actually go to console.anthropic.com, and you're going to sign up and register your account, and then you're going to go over here to API keys and hit create key, and you can name this whatever, and you're just going to click create key. It's going to give you a key. You're going to copy that down into a document or notes or something like that, just for temporary use, so we can plug that into Bubble. So let's go ahead and get started on this. So we're going to add a new page, and I'm just going to call it YouTube Claude tutorial, and we're going to hit create. Cool. So let's go and grab the page, and first and foremost, we can add a dark theme to it. We'll add a dark color. Container layout, we can do align to parent, just because it's a very simple UI, and we just have kind of a top area, middle area, and a bottom area, so I'm going to keep it very simple. Cool. So what we're going to do next is go ahead and begin adding our containers in. So group, drag that in, and then we'll call this the header. This is going to be a column. We can center it, make it align to top center, and we can make this, we can tell it to fit to the content like that. And min height we can take off also and let it fit to the height of the content. We're going to add some padding to it. I'm going to go with like 30 all around, and add some margins to just push it off that top area. We can go with like 30 there too. Oops, too much, 30. Cool. And now we're going to go ahead and go to text, and we're going to throw it under our header container, and we're just going to bump up this font size. I'm going to change the font actually too. We can make it a little bold, and change the color, center that, and we can call this welcome to my AI. Cool. So that just will be set. We can make fit width to content, get rid of our min width, get rid of our min height, and we're all set here. Last thing, we want to just center that within its container. Cool. So now we have our header. Let's go ahead and continue. We're going to next add in our group to the center. So we're going to call this response. And this is going to be a column container, and we can leave it centered. And I like to make this around 60% of the screen, just because you don't want it to be too big and let the content elongate through the screen. It doesn't provide for a good interface. And take out the min height. We can add a bit of padding here, so we just go to 10 all around. Cool. And then inside of it, we're going to add a text box. Now let's go back to that response container. We're going to set the type of content to text. Then we can go back to the text, and we can do parent groups text. Cool. Let's go and change the color so our users can obviously see it, and everything else should be fine with it. Yeah. So next, let's go ahead and add our container for the inputs. So we're going to add another container, and this one's going to be aligned to center bottom, and it's going to be called input. Okay, and we can make this about, I want to say like 450. Or we could go maybe like a little more. Rather, let's just go with the percentage here. We can go with like 50 maybe. Yeah, 50 or 60 is fine. Yeah, we can go with 60. And get rid of our min height. We don't need that. You'd add some padding here. Doesn't hurt. We can go with 15 all around. 15. Nice. Perfect. Go to input. Okay, and then we're gonna set the margin for this to be whatever we set up there, which I believe was 30. So just unsure how this table got on here, so just have to figure out what happened. So just gonna right click and delete that. Shouldn't even be on yours, but cool. So we have our input group, and inside of it, we're gonna add a multi-line input in case our user wants to go ahead and type in a few lines. And we're gonna go ahead and call this AI input. And we can make this, so keep in mind the input container 60% of the page, and this is going to be 90% of our input container. And then height we're going to fit to content. Cool. And then let's go to appearance, make sure type here is fine. The input should not be empty, needs to be checked. And then let's just change our text colors. We're going to make this white for the font, and the placeholder we can make like some sort of gray middle ground like that. Yeah, nice. I'm also going to add a border. So the border is already set. I'm going to make it a little more prominent so we can see it like that. Yeah. Now we can make it a little lighter. Yeah, that looks fine. You can see that. We can turn up the percentage just to crank it up a little bit. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. So now let's go ahead and go into our assets here, and we're going to look for an icon. Yeah. I'm going to add that in, and we can make this send and just choose a send icon. This is going to be send. This is what we're going to name it. Make the icon color white, and that's all good. Then we go back to this input container, and instead of column, switch it to row, so they were sitting next to each other. And we can set this as center, apply spacing, and we can go for like 5 or 8 should be more than enough. Yeah. So let's grab the icon, center that on the page, grab our input, make sure that's centered on the page, and perfect. Now we have a nice little UI built, and we can go ahead and preview that, and this is what it looks like. So as you type, as the user types, they can just kind of go up, and it just pushes it up at the top, and then they'd be able to click send, and that would return a response over here. So to go ahead and set that up, we're going to next begin adding our workflows. And prior to doing that, you want to go to plugins and hit add plugin, and make sure you have API connector installed, because that is going to be how we're going to integrate with Claude. So now to integrate with Claude, what you're going to do is you're going to come here into API connector, you're going to hit add another plugin, and we're going to type in Claude, and leave this all as is. And then you're going to go ahead and set up these shared headers, and I'm just going to show you mine so you can kind of copy it off. So it's going to be X API key, the Anthropic version, and the content type. And then here are the values for these two, and then this would just be your API key that Claude provided you, or Anthropic, and there's no bearer to the front because it's sent in the header, not as a private key in the authorization. It's a little different than how it would usually be set up. So you want to set it up like this, and that should all be good. And then we're going to create a action or a call down here. So you're going to add another call, and for that you're going to fill it in with the following information here. So just going to create a message, and then this is the endpoint you want to hit, and then it's going to be an action post, and then you want to go ahead and basically type this out. What I probably will do is I'll just leave this in the description, or if you drop a comment, I'll probably get reminded to throw this in there. And what this basically is doing is just sending it within a JSON body to Claude rather than through Bubble's built-in parameters, just because this works more efficiently and is a little easier to visualize. And then this field here just means dynamic. So body parameters is where the input for the user would go in. And then you would hit initialize call, and you would get a return of things from Anthropic. And you just want to save these because everything should already be set, and you're just going to save it. So once you have that done, you can go back to our UI, and this is where the fun begins with workflows. So to start off, what we're going to do is create a workflow for our send button. So we're going to click the send button, hit add workflow, it just changes to orange, and click here to add action. So for element action, what we're going to do, for the workflow action, what we're going to do is we're going to go to plugins, and now you should see Claude create a message. You want to click that. And then you want to go to the body input, and you're going to hit insert dynamic data, and what we're going to do is we're going to change this to the AI input multi-line field that we added, and set it to that value. And what basically that's saying is whatever the user inputs in this field is what we want to send to Claude as the input. Now, once we get that data back, we want to display it. So we're going to do display data in a group, and the element is going to be our response. The data display is going to be result of step one's content, first items, text, just like that. And now what this is doing is it's going to send that to Claude, the input, and then once Claude sends back a response, it's basically going to display that text within this parent container. As you can see, the type of content is set to text. So this data source is unticked, but it's going to fill in this data source with Claude's return data. And then this text element is just going to grab that parent group text and display it as text. So it's pretty straightforward. Okay, and then we can go ahead and refresh this, and we can pretty much just start right on it. So we can be like, hey, what is bubble.io? How do I build an AI with it? And hit enter. And you can see it's now loading, making the request to Anthropic's Claude to get a returned response. And so if we wait here, we should be able to get a response shortly. And it can be a little slow, like I mentioned, because it is client side. It's not running on your server. And everyone is bolstering these AI models. So it does get a lot of traffic. And what's cool is within Anthropic, if you go to your logs, you'll actually be able to see the latency within. So this is just the one we conducted right now, and you can see it had a pretty high latency on it. But you know, it varies depending on what you're trying to produce. So obviously this is a decent amount of content. So it took a little longer of a time, but you can see just as simple as that works fluently. No issues, no errors. We can do it again to something else. But one thing we do want to add is you see how this field still has our old text in it. We want to clear that out. So that's really simple. We're just going to add one more action, and that's going to be within element action reset inputs. And that's going to reset the relevant inputs used in that workflow action. So now if we do if f of x, x is 7. All right, let me do this. If f of x equals x to the second plus x minus 2, what is f of 7? Just thought I'd do, a little bit of a complicated math problem. It's not terrible, but and we can see Claude working at it, and you'll now see that this input will get automatically deleted once it returns it, just like that. Boom, it's gone, and now we can see the returned response from Claude with our answer. So it's pretty simple. If you have any questions regarding it, definitely let me know in the comments. Shoot me an email. It's within my YouTube channel, and I'd love to help you out. It's a super, super simple build. People make it seem a lot harder than it is. It's very easy. I just showed you, super easy to build. And of course you can, customize this to your needs, and I'd be more than happy to help you or guide you, maybe even make a video on it. Like I mentioned, the next video that's going to come out is going to have multi-model integration. So you can choose between OpenAI or Anthropic and let your users use specific models depending on what they want to do. So I hope you enjoyed the watch. Leave a like, subscribe, drop a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.